thank you all again for joining me on another episode of The Art of Comic Writing. I'm your host, Jorge Medina. That's George with a J, and welcome back. Today, as per usual, I have another writer on the other side of this intro, and we will be talking shop about a few things. For those who don't know, I'm a huge sports fan, huge. I can watch any sport on TV and get stuck waiting for a winner, admiring that athlete, or pardon me, I should say those athletes' skills. There's something awe-inspiring for me about a person who uses their skills to excel at anything they're attempting to do. And for me, sports are the ultimate test of skill. Well, so I thought until I discovered professional and even semi-professional writing. Now listen, it's not that I didn't think you needed any level of skill to write, but before I started doing this on a consistent basis, and I'm talking about with the purpose to sell my writing to the public, I honestly was definitely not paying attention to the intricacies of the craft, like, pacing, character development, etc., and the level of skill needed to keep someone flipping through the pages of a book or a comic book that I wrote. Today, we are going to discuss that with our guest and discover what are some of the skills that can make us strong writers, plus the writing prompt. And without further ado, my guest today is a young independent comic book writer, full-time author, voice actor, and business owner. His publishing company, Conversal Brand, is set to take the indie scene by storm. His passion has always been to be an inspiration to people and to bring smiles and joy into people's lives. Please welcome Kevin Davis. What up, Kev?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been a long time coming. We've been talking about this interview for a while, so I'm glad that you're here doing this with me. I appreciate you very, very much. But yeah, no, it's going to be fun. This is going to be fun. So how you doing today, though?
Man, I'm tired. Been writing most of the day.
It never stops, bro. It never stops.
Never stop. My brain just keep going. I just love it. I love
funny,
it so
man.
much.
It's funny because people will say, don't you ever get bored? And I'm like, nah, man, I
Nah,
don't get
really.
bored. I'm too busy thinking about whether it's the next thing I'm going to do or something I'm working on right now or like
Yep.
an interview like this that I have going on. I'm always thinking about that kind of
Yep.
stuff. So I never really get bored. So for those watching, you know how this works. Me and Kevin would have a conversation about writing. We're going to talk about writing for the next 30 minutes or so. And then at the end, I'm going to give him a writing prompt. He has no idea what the writing prompt is yet. For those who have never seen the show, what I do is I give you a writing prompt, 15 minutes, sit down in a room, in your car, in your kitchen, wherever you are, write down whether it's a scene or a short story for 15 minutes, whatever you got. And then if you want to share it with me, you can. My email will be in the show notes. If you don't, that's fine. I won't take it personal, but I figure it's a nice exercise to get the creative juices flowing. Artists have, warm-up sketches. I figured we have something like this to do. But Kevin, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get going. Let's get going here. So let me ask you this first. So when writing a comic script, okay, is it hard for you to dial back the amount of description you put into your panels for the artist, or you leave that up to them to completely do whatever they want with the panel? How do you work your scripts?
When I first started, it was a bit hard because it was like my first time because I don't know what I wanted to do or like is this too much or like is this too little. But as I started like going and going, I got comfortable with it, and then I guess you give the artist creative freedom to tell me like is this too much in like one page like or is it too little or like you need to add some more. So I basically give artists creative freedom because I don't want this to be like a dictatorship. Because artists like we have that creative juice.
Yeah.
I was like, I already said, let's give me updates and tell me what you want to do before you do it, so I can see like what lane you trying to go with the story. As long as it tells the story correctly as I'm going.
Yeah. How much time now do you spend researching a story, and what does that research look like? Because I know that you did research to even start writing comics. So when you have a story in mind, what does the research look like for your story?
I watch a lot of movies.
You do? You do?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Literally, when I have like so many ideas in my head, but I always try to like, what am I getting this inspiration from? And so I'm like, oh, let me watch this movie to see how they did their concept, and let's see. The thing I do, I watch like 2, 3 movies like back to back to back because I take multiple concepts and make them and mix them together and make it my own concept.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm like horror, science fiction, fantasy. I was like, I literally like I can take Lord of the Rings and for example, it for example, I can mash those together somehow and do something really crazy with it. I'm like I've been told my mind is like very creative in a
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
that I can like imagine stuff like they've never seen before. Like artists I work with, they're like, dude, you scare me with the imagination with the monsters that you have me draw.
That's awesome, dude.
I'm just like, whoops, sorry.
Have you ever found yourself stuck and like
Oh, most definitely.
you didn't know how to get out of
Yeah.
that, right? Like, do the movies help you then in that case, or is it more of like, all right,
Yes.
well, now I got to go into Google, say for example, and I'm gonna have to research this thing a different way. Have you ever had to do that?
Yes, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had to do it quite a few times before I got the hang of it.
Hmm.
Because watching a movie sometimes like it is so complex. Like how can I put that into a comic script form
Hmm.
or a novel form? Or like that is so complex. And like how do I pace it? How do I like not go too fast? How do I catch audience attention?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Nah, that could be challenging, which actually leads me to this question. What is the most difficult part of the writing process for you, and how do you overcome it?
So the most difficult part
Mhm.
is most of the dialogue. The
Hmm.
dialogue always kicks my tail every time because
Really?
I know what the characters are. I know their backstories. I already know like what storyline I want to take it. But every time I get to writing, it's like, well, how do I tell the story with them talking
Mm.
and not um, revealing too fast, and
Yeah.
also not going too slow, and
Yeah.
also not being boring. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a lot. There's a
Uh,
lot that goes into that. You're right, and that's
yeah,
the thing about being an author, right? Because you can do that in your writing without the dialogue. You don't need dialogue to move the story along in
exactly.
prose, right? You could just tell the
Yeah,
story. In comics, it is about the dialogue. It is about what is that character going to say that's going to reveal what I want
exactly.
them to reveal without it sounding corny, cliche, boring, like all those things. You know what I mean? How do you
Yeah.
overcome that though? How have you found a way to overcome it, and how do you do it? What do you do?
It depends on which story I'm writing.
Okay. Okay.
um, so for example, the comic called Kevi,
Hmm.
it the way I came overcome that, I watched John Wick over and over again.
Really?
Yeah, between John Wick and Mission Impossible and like the Expendables, I kind of watched them over and over again. I was like, okay, this movie goes a bit too fast. I want to slow like down just a little bit in my comic. I was like, okay, this one goes exact the pace I want to go, and also catch somebody off guard. Yeah. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
that's how I overcome it, is literally by watching movies and pausing the movie, writing down ideas, and coming back to the movie.
Do you ever worry that some of that stuff may seep into your brain and it comes out on paper almost very similar to what that is, and then people will be like, "Wait, that sounds like John Wick." Do you ever worry about that when you're doing stuff like that, or do you have a way to kind of combat that also?
Oh, most definitely. But that's why I always do outlines first.
Mm.
That's why I outline before. I'm like, this is John Wick version. Let me tweak it and make it my version.
Yeah, before we came on, I asked you, if you had, what books you had done, and you said you had a couple. You gotten rid of some. You're rewriting some of them. How many books have you written, right? And which one is your favorite?
So I've written 3, but I took down the first 2
Mhm.
because as I started growing, I didn't really like what I wrote. But the one that's still up is called Jackal Bunny. It's on Amazon. It's still on Amazon. And the story of that is about a college girl named Amaya Fitzgerald. She's being chased by a demon called the Jackal Bunny. But the thing is, the Jackal Bunny can switch between human and being a demon. Her alter ego is Jackal Bunny, but her real name is Sabrina Jackal.
Mm.
Uh,
Would you say horror is your favorite genre to write? Is that what you
that's
prefer?
actually that's literally what I write the most. It's horror and fantasy.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
How did you get into writing horror? Like, what was the movie or the book that did it for you?
The funny thing is, um, my mother's murder mystery book, she hasn't published it yet.
Oh,
She let me read it the entire day. I was stuck in that book. I
really?
could not put it down. I like, give me a minute. As I kept reading, I was like, I want to try something like this.
Cool,
I was like, I
man.
know I can do it. It might not be good as this my first time around, but
Right.
I can definitely do it. And I plan I'm going to be publishing my mom's books too.
Oh, that's amazing, bro. That is
Yeah,
amazing. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
yeah.
So the other two books that you took down, you said you took them down because when you reread them, you realized I've grown past this. How long ago did you write those books?
A year ago.
In a year, you saw the growth in your
Hmm.
writing.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, year and a half. Yeah, year and
Okay.
a half. Yeah.
Any chances of you turning Jackal Bunny into a graphic novel or into
That's
comics?
that's actually
Yeah.
funny you mentioned that. I'm actually the first book, Jacobani, I'm turning into a 6 issue comic series.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
And issue one is actually being worked on now, coming out in October.
Wow, there you don't play. You don't play. It's on.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And the comic version of it's gonna be called Skin Shifter.
Mm,
Because
okay,
Jacobani can shift. And like she can shift her skin. She's a demon and also human.
nice.
So yeah.
Where'd you get the title Jackal Bunny from? Like, where'd that come from?
The movie called Jackal.
Jackal, and then you just put
Yeah.
through, and then you
Yeah,
threw the
since
bunny in there.
that character had like a bunny mask. And I was like, huh, Jackal Bunny. Interesting.
Okay,
So
and then it
yeah.
became that.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Nice. Well, for those watching, the links to what we're talking about will be in the show notes, so you'll be able to get a copy of everything we're talking about. But right here, we're going to take a quick little break. On the other side of the break, I want to talk about skills that we use, whether it's in our regular lives or whether it's skills that we have found through writing that make us stronger writers. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll be right back with Kevin Davis. And we are back with Kevin Davis, and we're talking the art of comic writing. Final question here. Well, one of the final questions. What skills make you a strong writer? So now I wanted to ask you that, but not just in the sense of like, oh, my skills as a writer. Like, I guess your life skills. Like, what do you think are some of the skills that we have, life skills that we have, that can make you a strong writer?
Well, make you a strong writer. One, know what you want to write
Hmm,
before you attempt it, because you're gonna burn out very fast if you don't know what you want to do.
yeah.
That's I call that discipline, because you always have to have discipline in everything. Like it doesn't matter what profession you're doing, honestly, especially in writing, because writing scripts is not for the weak. it's it's not for the weak. I'm saying. So I'm telling you now, if you want to get into comic book industry, make sure you know what you want to do before you jump into it. That was one of the biggest lessons I learned when I got into it.
Yeah. But
Also,
I think that's what you're saying right there, the discipline. That is
yeah,
so spot on, man. Like,
yeah,
because we come in this and like you said, thinking, oh, this is easy, man. It's just comics. Like, how can that be? And it's like you said, just having the discipline to finish a script or to finish, like that alone, uh, could kill you. I mean, it could kill your creativity, everything. But what else?
exactly.
So go ahead.
Budget, most definitely. You
Mm,
got make sure you budget. And also, when I'm talking to like artists, I want to build a friendship and also a business partnership. Because, like I said earlier, I don't want to be like no dictatorship at all.
mhm.
I like to build long-term relationships Like if I love your work, I love your work, and I want to keep getting your work. And that's why I always tell my artists, the projects I give you, and I tell you it's a series, no one else is touching that.
Right.
Like I keep my word unless you don't do a certain part, I'll get someone I trust, like you. I trust because the artists don't do the lettering part, but you do.
Right.
Like that's why I'm building a relationship with you because I've seen your style of lettering. I was like, I want to work with him. I want to work with him. Organization. Always organization. Especially like me writing multiple scripts at the same time.
Mm.
Because my brain's like this. That's it. Yeah. Uh,
That's
um,
good. That's
so
good.
that's literally why I have a file of scripts from horror, fantasy,
That's awesome.
action. And if I have an idea, I write it down. Boom, I save it there. But that's not my priority. I'll get back to
Mhm.
it when I finish these.
Yeah.
That's why I have about 120 scripts now.
Jeez,
Uh,
God damn. But they're all organized. You know
yes,
exactly where
I
they
know
are.
exact. Yeah,
That's
I'm like,
key. That's
I
key.
know like what characters I want. I'm like, you going to this story, you going to this story, you going to this story, and
Wow.
I already have in mind what artwork I want. I'm like, you going to him, you going to her, you going to him, you going to them, or so yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Do you now
Um,
are you building a universe? Are these
uh,
all intertwined or are they all separate kind of stories? Or some are, some aren't.
actually, both actually.
Yeah.
Within my publishing business, I have multiple imprints.
Right.
Got my Kevlar Brands is my holding company name.
Hmm.
This is my shirt, Kevlar's house, right here. If you can
Oh,
see it,
you
ah,
disappeared.
ah, ah. Well, you can see a little right here at
Oh
Kevlar's
yeah,
house.
yeah.
Yeah, that's where that's where I produce my horror and my science fiction comics.
Mm,
And then I have Kevin's Land, which is like more manga style comics.
nice. I like
And
that.
then I have Kevflex, which is like my other comics, my fantasy, dark fantasy, action comics.
I like that, Kev. I
So
like that.
yeah,
Yeah. Listen, life skills, right? Talk
yeah,
about discipline, right?
mhm,
You're talking about budgeting, being able to budget, being able to
yeah,
build relationships.
yep,
Being relationship building is huge in this
most
industry.
definitely.
You're spot on with that. And then you have organization. I mean, these are things that you're right. I think it builds not just you as a person, but also as a writer. I think we tend to be a little disorganized sometimes when we're writing these scripts, and I think that I mean even for me when you say organization and when I apply it to writing, I'm
Mhm,
thinking about the research that I
yep,
have to do for a certain story. If I'm not
yeah,
organized with my research, it may hurt me writing the story because now I can't find where did I put that whole
yep,
article I had read or I wanted to
yeah,
read about this that I'm writing. Where is it? I can't find it. You know what I mean? The
yes,
discipline to
most
sit
definitely.
down and write every day so that you make sure you can finish all of your writing or just becoming a better writer. It's about practice, right? Like the more
Yep,
you write, the more you write, the more you write, the better you get, the better you get.
yep.
So discipline is key. So I like all
And,
of that, dude. I like all
and
of that.
like,
And it sounds like you're applying it.
and like the funny thing is, I used to hate writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to hate writing with the passion. I used to hate writing.
So
Yeah.
how did it? When did it change? When did you fall in
So
love with it?
it was when I was in ninth grade in high school, actually.
Mm.
Um, like school, you have to write essays. I was like, but it was ninth grade in African American history class. We had our first paper, and I was like, God. I don't remember this what it was about. I'm like, yeah. I'm 24. That was years ago.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
um, but when I got my grade, my teacher had a system where he 1 through 5, where it's like 1, you need a lot of help.
Mm-hmm.
3, you're there, but I want to push you higher. And 5, like you're there, college level there.
Right.
And for me, I'm like, I'm expected to be a 1. Like I'm like, I don't care about this. I'm like, I want my grade. I'm expected to be a 1. Next week later, I got a 3. I was a 3.
Wow.
I was like, I'm a level 3. Wait, what? And my teacher said, Kevin, your writing is very good, and I want to push you higher to a college level writing because you're there. You just need a little bit more push.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, huh, okay. And then time progresses. My senior year, I want to see how my writing progressed from ninth grade to senior year. So I literally went back to like my teachers throughout my high school years to show them like what they think, and they're just like, Kevin, wow.
Really? So you just
And
get better and better. You kept getting better and better.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was my senior government class. We had like a 7 to 10 page paper to do.
Hmm.
That was our final project before graduation. I was like, oh crap. My mom helped me with it, and I just wrote everything. Um, yeah, rough, with a rough draft, I made a 94 out of 100.
Wow.
Uh, no, that was the final draft. My bad. He didn't have a rough draft. That was a final draft.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, I want to do like the teacher said, I want to give y'all a final draft. I was like, okay. So I think I did like 7 pages the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I extended to like 9.5
Wow.
pages, I think. And I have made a 97 on a final draft.
Jeez. Now this was a research paper, or this was creative writing?
Bit of both.
Bit of
It's
both.
like bit of both because we had to research a topic on like the government.
Mm.
If I remember correctly, I think it was like on the topic like the government, like the check and balances, or like someone in history, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome, dude. Awesome. But listen,
yeah,
like you said earlier, the life skills, they're very important. To make you a strong writer. It sounds like they've been working for you. They've been working for you, man. So good for you. I'm
yeah.
I'm looking forward to reading a lot of your stuff. So I'm definitely gonna check out some of those links and check some of that stuff out. But I do have one final question for you, Cap, and that is the bonus question. And the bonus question is, what is your favorite YouTube channel? And why is it Get Your Meds?
Honestly, when I saw your YouTube name, Get Your Meds, and I saw your name, I was like, okay, this guy's creative. So he literally used his name, but he said get your meds, guys, because you're crazy. I'm kidding. Get your
Nice,
meds,
man.
guys. Get
You
your meds.
got it. You get me. You get me, bro. People ask me that all the time. Like, wait, is this like drug related? I'm like, no, dude. My last name is
Like, no,
Medina.
isn't it?
It's just a play on
Right.
my last name, bro. Like, I want you to get addicted to my comics. That should be your meds. So go get them.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nah, man. That's awesome.
that was another thing I want to add to the last question.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I always tell people writing has become my therapy. That's why I write so much.
Mm,
It's literally my therapy because growing up I had so much anger. I
yeah.
had a lot of anger growing up without a father, single mom, only male in my house. So
Right.
I was confused. I was in my own world. I was just blaming everybody but myself because I was angry. I was hurt.
Yeah.
That's also why I kind of got into horror because it's because my mind was in a dark place, and like
Mm.
that's like I kind of like put like my hurt into my writing
And
without
you use that. You used it to come out of that.
yeah, and I put it in a way that you don't realize that I was hurt.
Right. Right. You were masking it. You were
Yep,
masking it. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah. And that takes skill, bro. Like you don't realize what you're going through when you do that. But
yeah.
nah, thank you for sharing that, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Writing can become therapy, and it does become therapy in your case specifically. And you've built something beautiful out of it, man. So congratulations for that. Because
Well,
that
thank you so
that
much.
that's a skill in itself. Nah, man. Now, okay, so one final thing, Kevin. This is the writing prompt, okay? The writing prompt for tonight, okay? Now, I didn't realize you were into horror the way you were, but this can turn horrific. Two friends stranded in the desert. What happens? Is it at night? What's in the desert? What's going on out there? Why are they there? How did they get there? Was it they got dropped into the desert and nobody can find them? Are they lost? Will they survive? What's going to happen? So that is your writing prompt. Two friends stranded in the desert. Don't tell you where. You go with it. Roll with that. Do whatever you want with that. So that is your writing prompt for tonight, my friend. But Kev, this has been fun, man. Thank you so much for coming on, doing this,
Thank you for having me.
being so candid with us. We appreciate that. And again, to everybody watching, make sure you check out the show notes because all of his information will be on there. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward, like I said, to reading some of your stuff. And I'm looking forward to working with you because this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a lot of fun, my friend. Thank you for
Thank you so
coming on.
much. Thank you so much.
You got it, brother. And that, my friends, was Kevin Davis. Thank you so much, Kev, for coming on the show and, answering the questions, having that conversation with us about writing and the skills that we need or we can use to become better writers. Skills like having discipline, right? Being organized, building relationships, budgeting, things like that, that can make us better writers. The discipline, obviously, I mean, right? You have to write. You have to write. That's discipline, right? You organization, knowing where everything is. We talked about it briefly on the show, talking about you're doing research. You have no idea where you put the stuff that you researched. You don't know where that is. Even to a certain extent, organizing the thoughts in your mind or the thoughts on paper to put that on a script or to put that in a prose, things like that. So all very important skills. And these are life skills that we could apply to become better writers. So thank you so much, Kev, for that insight and having a discussion with us. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share this bad boy for things like this. I love to talk shop with other writers. And this is part of the fun of doing this show. Hit subscribe, share the channel, like, comment, do all that stuff. Help us grow the channel. That is very important. I want to thank everyone who showed up today to watch the show. Don't forget that next week I will have another guest on the show. And also, don't forget about the writing prompt. 2 friends stranded in the desert. 2 friends stranded in the desert. Again, thank you for coming on. Big shout out to Morgan Quaid for the dope music you're about to hear on the way out. And don't forget, keep writing. Peace.